Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby with Fitness is Medicine, and today I'm going to give you a workout that you can do with a band and with some body weight exercises. But I wanted to talk to you about exercise snacking. So if you envision yourself, eating throughout the day a little bit here and there, well, you can do exercise the same way as long as you're getting movement in. So if you're really struggling with saying, I can't find 30 minutes to do my exercises or 15 minutes, or I can't just wrap my brain around getting any exercise in, you can think about it like exercise snacking. So maybe when you're standing and waiting for the water to warm up to make your tea or make coffee in the morning, you can stand and do some exercises. So I'm going to show you a few things that are really easy to do at your kitchen counter, in your bathroom. We have a band lying around. You can just grab it and do an exercise. If you do a little bit, it always is way better than nothing. So exercise snacking. So if you get the same amount of exercise in 30 minutes that throughout the day that you would get in 30 minutes, it's still making a difference. It's still challenging your muscles. It's still strengthening your bones and strengthening your heart and getting your blood pumping and getting those muscle pumps working. And that is the goal. So we don't want to scare you into thinking you need to do a really long workout every time you do a workout. Movement is the key, especially to get going if you're really struggling with that motivation and really worrying about finding all that time and it's going to be too hard and I can't do it. Tubby's here to help me again today. So I'm going to show you 6 exercises to do. And of course, if you are actually doing these in a sequence and doing them 2 to 3 times through and adding cardio, that's fantastic. Keep up the great work. I always want you to start off with a warm-up, but even if you can just do some of these exercises, don't worry about the rest of it. Do what you can do to get your body moving. Okay, so we're going to start with a chest press today with a band. So I've got this band. It's easy to leave laying on your kitchen counter or next to your TV. Do exercises during commercials. Get up, move around, exercise, snack a little bit. So we're going to do a chest press to start. So I'm going to put this underneath my shoulders and I'm going to stagger my feet. Now, the great thing about bands is that you can make them easier or harder just by holding them lighter, further away, or tightening them up. So if you have one band that you use for everything, that's great. You can tighten it up or make it longer to change that resistance. So I've got it here about my shoulder blades, right underneath my armpits, and I'm just going to push my arms forward. The reason I'm not just standing and pushing is because it can be, if you do have any low back issues, that can be a little bit hard on your back. So staggering your feet can just give you a little bit more balance. So we're going to push forward 10 times. These are the same muscles used in a push-up. So this is just a different way to work them. So we're also getting your triceps in this as well. All right, now we're going to keep that band, and I'm going to have you keep your feet. I'm going to strengthening my screen here. I want you to try a tandem stance with this one. So adding instability to an exercise can increase your entire body's worth of the exercise. So really you're challenging your feet and your balance and your legs and your core, and then you're working on your upper body. So we're going to do a reverse fly, but we're going to do it in an X. So I want you to X your hands out. One arm goes up, one arm goes down. Doing this in a tandem stance, challenging your whole body. If this is too hard in a tandem stance, try a staggered stance. Or if you have pain that limits you from doing something like that, you can do it in a stagger. Or just keep your feet nice and wide apart. Both of these exercises that I've done so far today, you can also do seated. So if you find that your back is bothering you, or if it's too much to try to do it standing, sit in a good supportive chair, like a kitchen chair, or sit up on the edge of your sofa. If that's where you are and that's where you're going to do these exercises, that's fine. Sit up on the edge, try to sit up nice and tall, and try a couple of these exercises. Okay, now we're going to do calf raises. So this is one you can do anywhere, anytime. I do these all the time when I'm waiting in line, like at the airport. I haven't been to the airport in a while, but when I'm waiting in line at the bank or at the post office, or waiting for a client to arrive who may be running late, I'll stand there and do some calf raises. Or if I'm talking to a client and they're on the bike, like, they understand that I'm going to keep moving. So you can do this while you're waiting for your water to boil, or even while you're brushing your teeth. The key to this one is to go up as high as you can on those tiptoes and then slowly lower back down. So if you need to, hang on to a counter or a railing or something. It is a good balance exercise, but I have people try to challenge their balance with this and then they don't get as large a range of motion. So I want you to get as high as you can, like you're trying to see over your neighbor's fence, and then slowly lower back down, really challenging that eccentric motion in those calf muscles. Okay, similarly, you can do these when you're standing at the counter waiting for the water to warm up to wash dishes or whatever. We're going to do a standing hip abduction. So you don't have to take your leg very far away from your midline. We're working on your glutes here. So this is a great hip stabilizer, both in the leg that's working and in the leg that's standing, because this leg is having to stabilize and hold you nice and tall. The key to this exercise is, notice that my toe is pointing straight forward. It's really common for people to do this, where their toe wants to lead out to the side like that, because our hip flexors are generally stronger and they want to take over. So we want to make our glutes really work here. So keeping your toe straight forward or even turned in just a little bit. So this is one you can do anywhere. You're waiting in line. And I've had people tell me, they're like, I don't want to do that while I'm out in public. People might stare. I'm like, I don't care if people are staring at me because I'm moving. I want to be moving and doing something for me. So if they're looking at me, I think, well, why aren't you moving? Why are you just sitting there? So nice and slowly both directions. And this is one that you can add resistance to. You can add a band to it. You can put a band around your ankles. But really, you don't need it, especially if it's going to be something that you're going to do while you're waiting for something to happen. Like in between commercials, you just stand up and do a few of these. It's a really great exercise for these glutes. And if you do them nice and slowly and you do enough of them, you're really going to feel it. Again, stand next to something that you can hang on to for balance. If you can do it without hanging on, that's great. But I find sometimes with these specific movements, I want you to be able to be somewhere where you can hang on, so that you can really focus on the muscles we're working, not just if you can balance or not. Okay, next we're going to grab that band again and do some biceps curls. So if you have a long enough band that you can do it standing, great. Sometimes you have a band that's not quite long enough, so you can do it seated, and that'll give you a little bit more leeway with the length of the band. So if you have a really long band, you could stand on it with both feet. So we're just going to go up and down. So notice I'm sticking my elbows right in my side, and I'm bending my hand all the way to my shoulder, and then slowly all the way back down. I notice a common mistake with this one is to just do it here. And although that is still working your bicep, you're not working it in the full range of motion. So we want to strengthen it in the full range of motion, so that you have that strength when you're in that length. So like if you're carrying a bag of groceries and you need to lift it up to something, you have that strength to start to lift it up. Nice and slowly, both directions. If you find your band isn't super strong, that's okay. If you just go slowly and do a few more of these, you're gonna feel it. Like I've had times where I just have a couple pound dumbbells and I try to, I can still get a good workout in, lifting and lowering them if I do it nice and slowly and I do more. And you're really focusing on those muscles nice and slowly. Again, you can lengthen this or shorten this to make it work for you for, the strength of your band. All right, good. The last one, we're going to do a balance exercise. Oh, I had my tennis ball here and I think my dog took it. Okay, so I don't have my ball, so I'm going to use a band. So pretend I have a ball here. I'll knot it up a little bit. So I just want you to do a single leg stance, and you're going to catch. So if you have a ball, it'll be a lot easier. Right now the wind is blowing. I hope you can all hear me. I'll knot this into a knot, but we're going to stand on one leg. So this is another thing. You don't have to play catch with anything for this, but you can. It challenges you a little more. So we're going to go back and forth here. Focusing on something really close here really challenges your balance even more, because you know, as you balance, if you focus on one spot, it helps you center and hold that balance. This requires you to change your focus and challenges you a little more. But you can do this at the kitchen counter, stand on one leg, use that counter for balance if you need to. Try to lift your hands off, but it's right there if you need it. Switch feet. I always recommend trying, even if you're losing your balance a little, challenging that one side for at least 30 seconds. If you can do it for a minute, great. But this is another good thing to do while you're brushing your teeth or while you're waiting. Lots of different things you can do. You can do this while you're standing in line waiting somewhere, because nobody really is probably even going to notice that you're doing it. It's easy to incorporate little movements that make a big difference in the long run. If you think about if you were to do something, even just a little bit every day, over time it's going to make a difference. You want to incorporate, you don't have to think about doing a giant exercise program every day. The more you do, the better, of course, but if you can't fit it in, or if you can't wrap your brain around trying to do one of these exercise workouts, then try just a little bit. Snack on it. Try one of them one day. If that feels okay, try it again the next day. Maybe try 2 of them. But the point is I want you to start moving and just getting those muscles working that cardiovascular system and feeling good. So please let me know if you have any questions, and if you can, do it outside. The fresh air is amazing, and it always feels better to be outside, I feel. So anyway, please subscribe to my channel, like my video, and give me any comments that you feel. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.